Hi, my name is Diane. I'm here to talk about my father and his insurance situation. He belonged to an insurance company that also owned their hospitals, and he was always very, very healthy. He was a veteran. He was many things, but he did serve his country, and I feel like he deserved better than this. Anyhow, he was healthy all his life, and in 2007, he had a problem with his prostate and was put on a drug that actually, one of the things it did was lower your blood pressure, and he already had low blood pressure, but regardless, his doctor kept him on that drug. He wound up passing out from that drug and winding up in the ER. They couldn't, of the same hospital he belonged to, they could not seem to raise his blood pressure. It was very dangerous. They put a tube down his throat for some reason and a catheter as also for some reason. And he wound up in the ICU. In the ICU, he was in for quite a while, and the doctor there kept kind of pressuring us to make sure he signed a directive. And it wasn't like, we know that's important, but it was sort of like he wanted him to have the permission to pull the plug, and he kept telling us our father would die soon. So he wound up being put into a regular room and then back into the ICU and then a regular room, back in the ICU because he was terrifically sick. He also had ICU psychosis, which is a temporary insanity, but so it caused him to have hallucinations and things like that. It was a very sad thing. And he got sicker every day. And meanwhile, we were trying to get him into the Veterans Hospital, but they were full. So one day, another doctor, a cardiologist, told us that he would never get his mind back, never walk again, and never eat by mouth. And he suggested that we put him in a nursing home. Eventually, he would get pneumonia, and then we could ask them not to treat the pneumonia, and he would just pass on. That night, we were lucky enough to get him into the Veterans Hospital, and everything turned around. He got better every day. They got him walking, and his mind started coming back, and it was great. They had to put a J tube in to get him nourishment. This is a tube into his stomach. So then he was well enough to leave there, but not well enough to go home, so he was put into a rehab in Pacifica. And there, the doctor in charge of him was also from his hospital and his insurance. And he kept insisting to take the J tube out. And we were told by the VA not to let him do it in a regular room. And also, there had to be tests taken soon. But he kept pressuring us. Well, we didn't let him do it. I found out later, once he did that, he was legally allowed to let my father, or force my father to go home. And it's not fair to the elderly generation who deserve a lot more than that. I know my father did. He died, by the way, just 2 months before his 91st birthday, back in his own home, feeling well, working on volunteer projects and walking and driving, and fell asleep one evening and didn't wake up. If we had listened to the doctors at this hospital through their insurance company, he would not have had that extra year and a half or so of happiness.